Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf.
All right, welcome friends. We're in the next video in this series of watching the whole filmography of an actor, and maybe we'll do a director sometime, but welcome to the next video in this series of I watched every movie of whoever. We're doing Shia LaBeouf as the intro. There's an intro this time. What did you think? Did it grab your attention? Let you know what's to come, which is every Shia LaBeouf movie that I'll just kind of talk about off the dome. I got some notes, but we're just gonna go for it. We're just doing it, and I'll rank them at the end. We'll see if I'll rank them at the end. I won't forget. I may forget, but I'll rank them. We're doing the IMDb order of oldest to newest, but there's our first movie is Nausicaä in the Valley of the Wind, which is what is a little off about this order according to IMDb. This movie came out in 84, I think, or something, before Shia LaBeouf was born. So it's like, how is it his first movie? Because it was dubbed in English in 2005, so probably should be a little later on this list, but on IMDb it's the first one because it is technically the oldest movie. It's like the first Studio Ghibli movie. It's a Miyazaki film. I think it's before even Studio Ghibli was a thing, but it's pretty sick. It's very sick, actually, if you like those kind of movies. It's about Nausicaä, who's like a princess or something, or she's like a promised princess. She has a cute little animal friend, and the world was ravaged by war, and now there's giant bugs everywhere that if you like are aggressive towards them, they'll kill you, and they kind of protect nature. That's kind of the reveal of the movie. I think Uma Thurman's in this. She's like the bad lady. Basically, it's like one of the nations starts waging war, and all the other nations, they've like figured out how to get an ancient weapon back, which is just a giant human that shoots laser beams. That's just what destroyed the Earth. And then the bugs are kind of, this is the reveal. They're like the protectors of nature, and war is bad, and they're healing the Earth, which Nausicaä figures out. Shia LaBeouf, voice actor, is in this. His Aspel, that's his name. He's from like some other nation, and he shows up in like a little fighter jet and kind of blows up these giant ships. It's pretty sick. But then Nausicaa's like, oh, violence begets violence and all this stuff. And then they kind of discover the secret that like the Earth is healing and the bugs are the protectors of that. And it's a sick movie. It's good, and I would say watch it. Why not? AI kind of makes all the images look like Studio Ghibli stuff, which is weird to think about looking back at this when this is all like hand done in the 80s and cell painted and all that crazy stuff painstakingly made, and now it's like the AI image. I don't know if it's still doing that. It is still doing that probably, but like it has like the yellow filter and it looks like this movie, or it's trying to look like this movie, but in all his movies. But yeah, I mean, it's good. He's a good voice actor. I don't know how old he is and whenever this was recorded, but it's pretty good. So that's not really his first movie. His first movie is Breakfast with Einstein. It's a made-for-TV movie about a dog. And, okay, so it's the first 3 movies he does are made-for-TV movies, and I couldn't find them. You could probably buy them. You can definitely buy Breakfast for Einstein for like $60 on Amazon, but I'm not going to pay $60 to watch the movie. He did a thing, Shia LaBeouf did a thing where he watched all his movies. He marathoned them all in reverse chronological order. I'm going chronological order. So I watched him watch these movies. I kind of skipped around because I wasn't going to just watch him. There's no audio on YouTube for these videos where him watching the movie. It's where him like crying, the meme, him crying comes from. But, I skipped around and saw him just kind of look bored at these movies. I'm sure he was pretty exhausted at the end of that movie marathon. It was like 72 hours. But so Breakfast with Einstein, Monkey Business, and Christmas Path, which I think Breakfast with Einstein and Monkey Business both are like with an animal. And he's doing some like animal goofy comedy movie. And I'm sure Christmas Path is a Christmas movie. I probably read the plot synopsis. I don't even remember. So, who cares? I'm sure they're good. But now we get into it. Because, he gets big in Even Stevens, which, I loved Even Stevens, who didn't. And it's sick. So his first movie, I guess, after those, when he's kind of on Disney, is Tru Confessions, which is based on a book. And he plays, well, I forget his name. Maybe it's Lewis. I think he might have the same name as Even Stevens, or maybe not. I don't know. Trudy is the main character, the girl who like films her life. She kind of does like a vlog before vlogging was as big of a thing. And she hates her family because her twin brother Shia had a lack of oxygen at birth after he was born, and he's, mentally a toddler, but he's like a high schooler. So she's like frustrated with him and hates her mom and hates her dad, and kind of it's just like bitchy. And there's like a contest, like if you make a news segment, essentially they call it a TV show even though it's just like a news segment, you'll get it on TV. So she's like trying to figure out what to do, and she's like doesn't want to talk to her mom, so she goes online to like message boards to like talk to some people, and it's just kind of sketchy. That's not, I don't know, I guess it was a different time back then, but she ends up talking to this lady who she thinks is the perfect mom, and it just ends up being her mom, obviously. But the whole while, it's like she has to deal with her brother, who she, loves but is annoyed with, and they use the R slur in this because they're just bullying Shia LaBeouf. It's pretty messed up, honestly. And then the dad's a brain surgeon, and he's always just like tweaking on Shia for like, I don't know, being the way he is. He like spills some milk at dinner. He's like, Jesus Christ, like, oh my God, we can't even have one nice dinner. And it's like, all right, relax, dude. And the end of the movie essentially is like she realizes, it's like, yeah, my brother is annoying, but like I wouldn't have it any other way. I love him. He don't feel guilty because he's happy. He's not upset with anything. He's just always happy and, likes to have a good time. And I felt guilty as a kid watching this. I like felt very uncomfortable by it. He gets like lost in the library, and that kind of scared me. That kind of freaked me out when I was little. Not really as an adult rewatching it, but it made me uncomfortable. But, the point is to not be uncomfortable. And he does well. He's no Leo and Gilbert Grape, but he does pretty good here. And I feel like this is him delving into trying to more serious roles when he's kind of like the goofy comedy guy of Even Stevens, because Even Stevens was huge. And then at the end, it's like, oh, everything's good. We're all working on how to be better. I'm nicer to my mom, and Shia is doing his thing, whatever his name is. Like, and even my dad is like working on his temper with my brother. And then it shows them building a house of cards, and then Shia knocks it over, and the dad freaks out and makes him cry. And it's like, what was he thinking? Like, why? I don't know. What was the dad thinking? Like, oh, let me build a house of cards with, someone with the mentality of a toddler who would obviously just knock it over anyway. And it's like, why would you freak out about that? I don't know. A very bizarre scene. Another thing weird about the movie is like she has like daydreams that her life's a sitcom, and the audience is very creepy. It's almost like Natural Born Killer. I don't know. It's like bright lights on them and Dutch angles of the audience laughing, and it's kind of freaky. And then there's a Special Olympics like logo at the end, but they don't do anything with that in the movie. It's not like he's at the Special Olympics or anything. They just kind of throw that in there at the end. Not part of the movie. Okay, the next movie is Holes, which I think is the same year. Maybe it's the next year. I didn't write down the years this time like I did with the Glenn Powell video, but whatever. Holes is sick. It holds up. That's another one based on a book. He's caveman. Sploosh. The old preserved peaches he drinks under the boat. I'm sure they're still good. And the sweet onions, I always wanted to like, I would try onions. They're never that good just biting into them like that. But, that's just how it is. But yeah, what is there to say about Holes? I mean, I remember it. I guess I should explain the plot. That's what we're doing here. Stanley, Shia, the main character, some pair of shoes falls on him and he gets arrested. He gets beat up by the cops from this. Like in the beginning, the shoes land on him. They go back to his house and he's beat up. And the grandpa's like, are you serious? Like they're playing it for jokes. Like he's laughing because the grandpa's kind of like an ACAB guy. Like, don't say anything. You guys are pigs. I don't know if he says that, but it's essentially, and he's like, you beat up a freaking kid. What the heck? And it is like, what the heck? And then he's like, either has to go to jail or go to Camp Greenwood or whatever it's called to dig holes, and they're just abusing children at that camp also. So it's like, it's kind of crazy. That's like the premise. It's like that, I mean, they save the day at the end. The police come and arrest all those people, but yeah, it's wacky. It's kind of like, whoa, they just beat up a kid and he has to go to jail for it because a pair of shoes fell on him. I guess he starts running, but I mean, I don't know. He ran from the cops because they beat him. And then also, there's not really wacky inventions in movies like there used to be. Or maybe I'm just thinking about that because when I was younger, I was watching kid movies and there was all these like wacky contraptions. Like the dad has all sorts of stuff going on in the apartment, like shoe presser and steamer, but it's, it's all crazy contraptions he's doing, trying to invent his thing to make your shoes not smell, some spray, which he does after they lift the curse. And you know how it goes. He goes to the camp, he digs holes, they're looking for treasure. We find out about the curse of his family, find out Zero is the descendant of the person who put the curse on his family, and then he carries him up the mountain. John Lithgow is in this. He's probably the funniest one. He's pretty good as Mr. Sir, and he's doing the sunflower seeds. He's always eating sunflower seeds. He's probably the best guy in this. I don't know. He's making me laugh. John Lithgow. And then at the end they get rich. They find the treasure and there's like old bonds in there and they become multimillionaires. And he's like, let's split it with my buddy Zero. And they're like, sure, because there's literally like goblets and gold, and that's not even what makes them all the money. It's like these bonds that are worth like $multi-million, and there's a bunch of them, so they're just super rich in the end. And then the dad also invents sploosh, and so I'm sure they get even more rich off of that. Their sploosh is the odorless foot cream, but Henry Winkler is also good too. He might be one of the funniest ones, but I like John Lithgow. Next movie, the Even Stevens movie. So I didn't watch the show for this, like going back. I mean, I loved the show when I was younger. I remember the Even Stevens movie. It starts off with another crazy contraption, which you don't see anymore. Shia LaBeouf has his chair that he's just going to chill in all summer. Like he's just going to hang out in this chair that feeds him hot dogs and cools him off and kills mosquitoes. And just chill all summer. And it seems pretty sick. His friends seem a little annoyed with him for it, but what else are you going to do in the summer? I guess, he's spending it outside at least. Yeah, also the movie starts with the sister graduating middle school. And you're like, whoa, she looks way older than 14. Like when you finish 8th grade or 13, you're like 13 or 14 when you do become a freshman in high school. It's like, what the hell? This lady is like in her 20s and like, oh yeah, she's graduating middle school today, and he ruins it because he has like a balloon thing filled with spaghetti. It was supposed to be filled with confetti, but it's like spaghetti, and he like ruins the whole thing, and it's funny. But the movie's about his friend sort of sells him out and puts him on this prank show, so they like think they're on an island, and it's all this, they just are pranking him on the island, and they're fine. I guess they are on an island, sort of, but not like a tropical island like they think. And the tribe is, the first dead giveaway is like the native tribe is just multicultural. There's every race of people is in this tribe. So it's like, I don't know. I guess you're not supposed to question that, of like, you're on this remote island, but there's just every race and they're all this one tribe, whatever the made up tribe is, but whatever. It was good. The thing I remember the most from when I saw this when I was a kid was when they eat the slugs. It looks like marshmallows, and that's what stuck out to me most. So this is like the end of Even Stevens, and I think like his rise to power, we'll call it. He starts getting big movies. He's done with TV. He's kind of just side characters in big movies with big names. So in the first of that, well, this isn't really one of them. This is the beginning. Next movie, Dumb and Dumber, When Harry Met Lloyd, the prequel sequel of Dumb and Dumber, and it sucks. It's not very funny. It's Brian Posehn's funny. He's like a gas station attendant in it, and like withholds the Slurpees from them. But it sucks. The premise is Eugene Levy is like a corrupt principal, and he realizes he can get money by starting a special needs special ed class and like get government money and just pocket it by like not really like doing anything to fund the class. So he puts his lunch lady lover in charge of the class, who then puts Harry and Lloyd in charge of the class. So they just don't do anything. They just get kids in here and you know, you don't have to do anything. And so that's like that's why people join the class, and Shia LaBeouf is one of them. Shia LaBeouf joins the class because he just wants to work, and his work involves being a mascot for various different businesses, and that's like all he does, and that's really it in the movie. Yeah, it's not very funny, not very good, but it's like, how do they not have a special needs class when they have like Harry and Lloyd? I mean, definitely Harry. He's like, it's like whack. I don't know, but movie's junk. So first sequel he's in of the original being pretty good and the sequel not being good, which brings us to the next movie, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, another shitty sequel of a movie that was good. I didn't watch the first one for this. I remember liking it. I'm sure it's good. The girls are hot. Probably Cameron Diaz or Lucy Liu are the hottest. Let's be real. Sorry, Drew. This movie starts off with them like in disguise and like crazy helicopter CGI flips and ridiculous stuff like that. I think Luke Wilson is like the love interest of Cameron Diaz in it. It made a bunch of money, the movie, at the box office. It was directed by a guy named Mick G, just MCG. I don't know how you say that. What a weird name. Why would he go by that? He's going by one name, Mick G. People, that's what they wanted in the 2000s. These crazy action, funny, sort of over the top. Bernie Mac's the new Basil or whatever the guy's name is. You know, it was Bruce. No, it was Bill Murray in the first one. Yeah, Owen Wilson has a cameo in it. He's got like a wicked chiseled jaw. It's like, is that Owen Wilson? It's like confusing. He's wearing sunglasses. His jaw is like, whoa. Yeah, I don't even have one. I don't have one at all really to show. But I was like confused. It's like, is that him? And they like put him in prosthetics or something, or did he just have a freaking? And he was like mewing, you know, back then. And so Shia is like a dirt bike guy, and they like find, I don't even. They have to like protect him for some reason. They like catch wind. He's like this dirt bike guy that the assassin they're trying to stop is after. But actually, like Crispin Glover, who's like the assassin in the first one, is like protecting Shia LaBeouf, and the whole plot is that it's the original Charlie's Angels girl. I can't think of her name. I'm pretty sure she's in Top Gun, and she's in Demi Moore. Yeah, she was looking hot in this too. She's like the bad guy the whole time for whatever reason. There's just like a part where she's just in like her underwear and a fur coat, just like talking about her master plan to no one. It's like, what? Why? It's like, I guess it's for the audience. But yeah, during like the dirt bike race, if you fall, you just blow up. So it's like a high octane thing. It's like, I don't know, it's silly, but they're doing like ridiculous flips. Like they'll jump, like not even with the dirt bike, they'll like go in the air, flip, land on the dirt bike in the air, and then like kick someone off. And you know, that's just what it is. It was all right. First one's probably better. And the end, Shia LaBeouf gets adopted by Bernie Mac's family, and this was just what people wanted in the early 2000s. Okay, next we got The Battle of Shaker Heights. Okay, this isn't actually a big movie. This is an indie movie that was sick. A lot better than I expected. I didn't really have any expectations going in. I never heard of it. Amy Smart is the love interest. Shia LaBeouf's the main character. It's pretty funny. It was a movie part of Project Greenlight on HBO, which was like a docu-series about, you know, getting indie films made. So this movie didn't make money, but it is cool that they made it. Like the screenwriter submitted this movie to that, I guess, Project Greenlight, and won out of everybody who submitted, and they got like a director on there. And he does some like serious acting parts. There's like some parts with his like coming to terms with his dad, who was a recovering junkie. He just kind of hates him for it. Probably rightfully so, honestly. But it's called The Battle of Shaker Heights because Shia LaBeouf is like a war reenactor, and he lives in Shaker Heights, and he meets his friend, and who's like this wicked rich guy whose sister is Amy Smart, who he's like falls for right away. And it's just kind of like a coming of age movie, and he gets a kiss from Amy Smart, but she gets married anyway. He tries to like stop the marriage, but she's like, you know, no, I'm not doing this. Like, you're just a kid. She's like in college, and he gets with the girl, you know, his coworker, like who he should have just been trying to get with the whole time. Who she like buys him Metallica tickets or Iron Man. She buys him some like famous band tickets, and he's like, I actually can't go because I'm interested in Amy Smart. And but they make up and you know get together in the end. But it was a good one. And so Project Greenlight, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were like the guys running it, you know, and you'd get to work with them if you know, they were like doing that. That's like why it makes the movie Greenlit, which is cool. And it had a few seasons, and I don't know what other movies did it, but HBO brought it back in like 2014 or something with Kamal the guy who got like ripped for the Marvel movie and his face got all big and weird, and then like this lady from that show Anxiety, and it's like imagine you're like, oh, I wish Project Greenlight was still a thing, you know, I'd love to throw my hat into the ring and work with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, but and then you're like, oh, it's coming back, Project Greenlight's coming back with, oh, who's in charge, you know, some, I don't want to say nobodies, but I'd just be like, what the hell? Like, you had like these huge A-listers before, and now it's like, what? It's a guy who took too many steroids for a shitty Marvel movie, and someone that it was just has worked with HBO before. I don't know anything about her, and it's like, wow, all right, I guess. I mean, you know, beggars can't be choosers. If you're trying to get something made and you want to submit it to that and kind of get the connections, but wow, what a letdown for those people. But whatever, I'm sure they all loved it. All right, next is iRobot. He's barely in this movie. iRobot is sick. Will Smith, good actor. So this is where, so like Battle Shaker Heist around this time is like the outlier of like him lead man indie movie. A lot of these next two movies, I mean, starting with Charlie's Angels, is him being, he's just a side character with big names, you know, like these are big movies and it's like, oh, he's in it, you know, he's kind of like, I feel like they've already realized his potential, because they were saying Shia LaBeouf was going to be like the next Tom Hanks for a while, way back when, in like the late 2000s or something like that. So he's like, I guess, paying his dues in a sense, where like with Glenn Powell, the early movies, you know, he's barely in it. If he's just kind of in it for a second. He's very minor characters and you don't know who he is. Where with like Shia, it's like, oh, this guy, you know, they're like, he's going to be something, where Glenn Powell is kind of like grinding it out. And now is like this huge superstar, where Shia LaBeouf was very quickly a huge superstar and was like in movies, even if he wasn't like a big part, like in iRobot, which iRobot takes place in 2025. And there's like hover cars and robots everywhere, which, where is that? Where are they at? I know Elon's trying to make robots everywhere, but this movie is like a warning. And, you know, there's a lot of movies, a few movies he does that are kind of warning us about the dangers of technology and what to watch out for in AI. Because the robot, you know, the movie starts with a robot kills a professor, and Will Smith is an anti-robot guy. And the professor guy specifically like wanted Will to investigate the case to like get to the bottom of what was going on, which you think it's, oh, the CEO, it's like the CEO of the professor guy's company killed him for whatever reason. And the CEO is like Elon Musk's wet dream, is what I thought. Like he wants to be this guy wicked bad, like this cool, handsome, in shape CEO who makes a bunch of robots, like new robots that everyone buys and loves and is just part of everyday life. But that's like kind of the thing, is like the new robots destroy the old robots and they can kill you. Like they believe the CEO has like the full control, and if he wants them to kill you, they will, which is probably what is happening in our real life. That's not even, it turns out to be the AI in the movie. There's like Vicky is its name. It's like she's the bad guy, so they have to like shut that down. But that's probably what's happening with like the AI robots. Like they're just gonna kill us when he feels like it. So don't buy a robot. That's what this movie is warning us about. Shia is just like a kid in this movie that like really likes Will Smith and always wants to, I mean, you really only see him once in the beginning, once at the end, and Will Smith was always telling him to go home. But when the robots are like ready to kill all the humans, Shia is like up at he's in the vanguard of a human army ready to of like regular people ready to fight against the robots coming. So it's pretty cool, you know, he's ready to die for humanity, I guess, but they stop and save everybody in the end. Next movie is Constantine, which is a DC superhero. This is with Keanu Reeves, and again, Shia is he's kind of like his sidekick, sort of. He's not really in it. He kind of taxis him around a little bit. He follows him around. He's kind of like his protege. He's like very knowledgeable on like the angels and demons of everything. I actually had wanted to watch this in a while because I read a thing about like the depiction of hell in this movie, which is like a nuclear blast. It takes place in LA, and like when you go to hell, like Constantine is able to like, he knows how to get in and out of hell, and sort of he goes a couple times. And it's like LA hit by a nuclear blast, which is pretty sketchy looking. And also the actor who plays Lucifer, the devil who comes up at the end, they were going to make him a leather daddy. The director wanted him to be a leather daddy guy and like biker leather for some reason. And he's like, no, that's weird. Give me a white suit. Because like there's an angel in it who wears white, but not a white suit. He's like, I'm going to wear a white suit and have tar, dripping from my feet. And people I think really like that aesthetic of it, and it's like creepy and scary, and and they were gonna make him a leather daddy. So I don't know what they were thinking there. The actor who plays the devil kind of saved him there, because I think that's what, it's not a very good movie, but I think that's what's talked about is like the look and the look of Lucifer and how he kind of saved that, cool art direction. Yeah, the bad guy in this movie is the devil's son, right? So Gabriel, the angel, who is played by Tilda Swanson, is like becomes evil and decides to work with the devil's son to bring the devil's son to Earth and take over. So the devil, like Keanu Reeves or Constantine, tells the devil like, yo, your son is like trying to take over, and he knows like, oh, I can't have that because I'm the king of hell or whatever. So he kills his son or brings him back to hell, and God finds out that Gabriel did that and rips her wings off, and she's just immortal or something. I don't know. Keanu's just like, now you have to suffer. He wasn't even gonna kill her. He's like, welcome to the real hell, which is Earth. I guess, even though he goes to hell and it's like awful. Shia dies on like the final battle helping out, but then at the end there's an after the credits scene where like Keanu Reeves goes to visit his grave, and then like Shia like swoops down as an angel, or he like, I don't know, he just is an angel, and it's like he looks stupid. It's so weird. He like looks up at him and flies off to heaven, and Keanu's like, all right, nice, glad the kid made it. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about him being in these big movies side characters, because the next one is The Greatest Game Ever Played, and they say the title of the movie in this, and they said the title of Constantine in that too because that's his name, so they just kind of refer to him. Whatever. Greatest Game Ever Played is a true story about an amateur golf guy somewhere outside of Boston. He's like a poor guy. His dad hates that he plays golf. He's French. Thought it was gonna be a chess movie, but they call it The Greatest Game Ever Played because this kid, Shia LaBeouf, who's just an amateur golf player whose dad doesn't want him to play, and he like he loses a tournament one time. His dad's like, you can never play again, like you just have to work. So they just, he quits golf, but then he comes back in because the US Open is coming. It's a big deal, and they're like, just play, you're really good. And like 2 British pros are coming and American pros, and Shia LaBeouf, this amateur kid or whatever the guy's name is, he beats them all, and it ends up going into like a final tournament between the 2 British pros and Shia LaBeouf, and it's like super intense, and Shia ends up wins it for America. The British guy is played by Stannis Baratheon, which was cool. And Shia has a 10-year-old caddy, which is that's also true. That's like what he had, and everyone kind of laughed at him. It was supposed to be like a gentleman's game, but and like who's this poor kid and his little 10-year-old caddy who's skipping school to caddy for him? He becomes the best golfer. So it was an okay movie. It was okay. The next movie, this one was sick. A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Kind of a mouthful title. It's the directorial and writing debut of Dito something, his name. I don't know. I guess he's a musician. This was a pretty sick movie. I thought it was going to suck when I first started watching it, but I liked it a lot. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. He plays the older version of Dido, and Shia LaBeouf's the younger version, that's more what it's about. And Channing Tatum's in it too, which is pretty good, which is Shia's friend. It kind of breaks the fourth wall sometimes. It's like interesting. It's good. Where he, like Shia LaBeouf is saying in the beginning, he's like, yeah, I leave. Like, I don't talk to any of these people ever again. I mean, sort of. He's like, it's based on a book, which was this guy Dito's like memoirs about his childhood in New York in the 80s, I think, and kind of like reconciling with his dad after he got sick because he leaves New York. That's like what it's about. It is true, but I think he kind of combines real people into one, in some cases. So it's like, it's kind of like a terrible situation they live. It's like, if this was what New York was like, it's like, this is awful. And there's a part where Shia's like freaking, he's like, this place is a nightmare. He's like, I have to get out of here because there's just like a lot of violence and like gang. And Channing Tatum's his best friend whose dad beats him. It's Fierro from Sopranos. He doesn't even talk. You just see him kind of like abusing him for a second. But Channing Tatum's like this tough guy that a lot of people, he's not afraid to mess with anyone, but people don't want to mess with him. So that'd kind of be a good friend to have, in that situation. But he also kind of causes a lot of shit. There's like the main conflict is like there's this gang and they're just kind of like fucking with each other a bunch. And then, yeah, they like are just fucking with each other. They spray paint Shia's house and, they say they're going to kill him and stuff. And then Channing Tatum, being the good friend he is, kills one of the guys. I don't think he meant to, but he does kill one of the guys and he goes to jail. And then in retaliation, his friends that died kill one of Shia's friends. And the friend he kills is actually alive in real life. I think he just used that. I don't know. That's the combining of characters, but one of his friends was murdered over that, and Channing Tatum's real life character did kill somebody. It was good. It's definitely worth a watch. They play New York Groove, that song by Ace Frehley, which I think is sick. But yeah, so it's about that, just like this summer in New York that's like awful, and his friend dies and his best friend kills somebody, and also that guy's Channing Tatum's brother ends up dying because he's like he's like sitting in front of it on the train tracks and they get out, and he doesn't get out in time and he dies, and that's real. And it's just like he says, it's a nightmare. Shia does some good acting in this with his dad. He's like freaking out. His dad loves him in the movie for sure, but he doesn't want to leave New York, and Shia's like, I got to get the hell out of here and be a musician and go to LA. Like, this is crazy. I can't be here. So he just takes off after his friend is murdered. So he just leaves. And that's where it's like, I never talk to these people again. And then the Robert Downey Jr. part is like him going back after all these years, after abandoning everyone, going to like reconcile with his father and that he's sick. And he's like, I'm sorry, but I had to leave and here I am. I'll help you now that you're sick. And then he goes and visits his friend Channing Tatum in jail, who is not mad at him for never visiting. And it's good. It's a good movie. It's definitely worth a watch. One of my favorite ones. All right, next we got Bobby, which is about the Bobby Kennedy assassination. This is a star-studded cast movie. There's a ton of people in it. It's like a Valentine's Day, but with leading up. The connecting thing is they all have something to do with Bobby Kennedy and that hotel in LA where he's murdered. RFK, that's who it is, And Shia LaBeouf is just a campaigner for RFK, and instead he gets high with his friend. The weed smoke in the movie, he tries to. He gets high with his friend, and they go canvas. But then their drug dealer is Ashton Kutcher. They're like, "Hey, can we get some more weed? We're gonna go canvas for RFK." And he's like, "I got something even better." And he gives them acid, and they just trip out all day. And he Shia tries pooping in a litter box, and Ashton Kutcher looks ridiculous. It's pretty funny. And Ramona Flowers is a waitress, and they're tripping out. And she's like, "You guys are tripping balls right now. It's very obvious." And so she gives them French fries. And he's like, "Was it obvious?" So there's a bunch of people. It's just little stories in the movie, and it all culminates that they all end up at where I think RFK wins California, and he gives his speech. They're at the hotel, and you see Sirhan come in, who denies it, by the way. He has no memory of doing that, so it's a Manchurian Candidate type thing. They don't talk about that in the movie. Hello Darkness plays, which kind of made me laugh at the end. And then so Shia gets shot, his friend gets shot, a bunch of people get shot, which did actually happen. 5 people got shot, as well as Bobby Kennedy, who who was the only one who died, like, because there was just a massive crowd of people. Christian Slater's in it too. He's just like a racist guy, but sort of. I don't know. He doesn't like the Mexicans that work for him in the kitchen or something like that. Does he get shot? I think he might have gotten shot. I forget who else. But it's good. Oh, this was directed by Emilio Estevez. Okay, and Martin Sheen is in it. Emilio Estevez is in it. No Charlie Sheen. They didn't want to toss their son and brother a bone. Where is he? Why isn't he in the movie? Whatever. It was good, though. Sad that RFK got killed. Same thing with JFK. You know, they did not like that family. All right, next we got Disturbia. This is a sick movie. Who doesn't love Disturbia? It's fire. Disturbia is fire. He says the name of the movie. I don't know if they say Bobby. They probably say Bobby in the other one. He says the name. He says Disturbia in the movie. So, and what Disturbia is about, Shia LaBeouf punches his teacher, justifiably so, because the teacher kind of says some shit about his dad who dies in a car accident before with Shia. Shia's driving. Like, he gets out and then they get hit again and his dad dies, and it's very traumatic. Also, his friend gives like it's like Spanish class. His friend gives a pretty good speech, I thought, and the teacher gives him an F for some reason. It's like, if the point was to like give a speech in Spanish, he does it pretty well. He just says, like, you know, in Spanish, he's going to go to the beach. I don't know. He says a lot. He doesn't just say the one thing, but I was like, why did he get an F for that? I guess we don't know what the assignment was, but it kind of starts off as like a coming of age movie. You know, it's like hot girl next door moves in. He can't leave, you know, the boundaries of the house. He's on house arrest for punching his teacher, and he's spying on all his neighbors. It's Rear Window. He's checking her out. The kids are messing with him because he can't leave. And then he like starts to realize one of his neighbors is a killer, and it's sketchy. And yeah, he has to get to the bottom of that. No one believes him, you know, because they just think he's some kid on house arrest, and the cop, they're out to get him because the teacher was his cousin, and it's a whole thing. And that cop dies, though. The guy just goes on a murder spree at the end, and Shia has to go save his mom and all this stuff. And he gets the girl, and it's good. It's Disturbia's fire. It holds up. Worth a watch for sure. Next is Surf's Up. Not for me, okay? It's like a documentary style, following this penguin, following the main character, Shia LaBeouf. I think his name is Cody, is surfing penguin. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I had, there's like a stoner chicken character. I had a figurine, probably from like McDonald's or something, of that stoner chicken. Surfed Up, it sucked. It wasn't a good kid. It's like, it was hard to get through. I don't know. They were trying to do like a edgier Happy Feet thing, I guess for teens or something. It's like, oh, they surf. It's cooler than singing and dancing, so I guess. Jeff Bridges is in it. That's meh. Yeah, it's just, the movie is Surf's Up. I think they do say it. The movie is about the penguin. He's like a rising star in surfing, and they're animals. And he learns that, you know, it's not all about like being famous. It's about just surfing for fun, and that's what and your friends, and that's what it's about. Next is Transformers 1. The best, the only good Transformers there is. I thought it looked real. When the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, there's some Transformers right there, you know? And also, all the Transformers in this movie, it is a long movie also. It's like 2.5 hours, which I did not remember. And they don't say it, but the military guys are definitely supposed to be G.I. Joe. So, just a little fun fact in there. That's the whole point. I think that's who they are, is G.I. Joe. Yeah, Shia has also been 17 in like every movie so far. He's 17 in this. He's been 17 in all of them so far. And I guess except even Stevens in Tru Confessions. But he is also, I'm pretty sure, in his teens at this time. He's in a lot of movies. A lot of these were in 2005, which is kind of crazy. I think Transformers was 2007, but he's really in movie after movie. He's a big star at this time. Transformers, it's sick. It holds up. It is long as shit, though. But it's good. Megan Fox is in it. He got star power. He's the leading man now, and he's like funny and all sorts of stuff. The Transformers, each Autobot kind of has some speaking times, where in the other ones, it's like sometimes they don't even say the name. There's just a new Autobot there, and it's just there, and it's like you don't even really understand it. But anyway, next movie, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is better than I remember it. I mean, I was just remember like the South Park episode where they're saying they raped them, and they probably shouldn't have done the CGI, or I should have said R-worded them. They probably shouldn't have done the CGI because that looked like crap. In the first one, they do all sorts of wacky stuff, or the first few, but it's not CGI, like when their faces melt and stuff. It's like old directors like Steven Spielberg, like they just think CGI is dope. They just think it's like the sickest thing ever. James Cameron with Avatar and shit. It's like, it's not, it was of the time for sure. It has not progressed in any way. I would say like Transformers looks just as good as whatever current superhero movie. It looks better, honestly. Like, I don't even know. It's not good. Just, I think people would appreciate practical effects a little more. Shia LaBeouf's Indiana Jones' son, who I'm pretty sure he's not in whatever the next Indiana Jones movie. Not that I saw that, but he's a greaser, which is kind of funny. This movie I don't know how to put it, but like it knows that it's like a big thing. Like it was, I guess, because it was a big deal that Indiana Jones is coming back after all these years. But like you know what I mean? It like gives that off. Like you're supposed to just watch it in the theater and that's it. And it's like, oh, it's this spectacle. Indy and Harrison Ford are back, and he has a son and all this stuff, and it's CGI. There's like the CGI meerkats, which is whack. And also like he's standing right next to a nuclear explosion in the beginning. He hides in the fridge, but he gets out and the mushroom cloud is right there. It's like you'd be dead if you were that close to a mushroom cloud, but not Indy, I guess. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is like aliens, which in the South Park episode they say it's like, why are there aliens in an indie movie? And it's like, oh, it kind of could have worked. It's just the CGI of it was dumb. It wasn't that bad. Where is he in the next one? Where's your son, Indy? What the hell? All right, Eagle Eye. Another warning movie. Big Brother's always watching. Eagle Eye's the program that just freaking spies on everybody and does everything. So what happens is like a defense AI thing that can see everything all at once, and it takes over. Shia's twin works with it. It kills his twin, and then it kind of contacts Shia and gets him to do all this stuff because Shia's twin's like high up in the military, and his face could like enable it to have free reign. So it starts leading Shia and this other lady to it, and so it could have free reign and kill the president, because it's like, oh, the president causes violence in wars, so I'm gonna have to kill the president. That's like the point. But we are all being watched constantly. Maybe there's an advanced AI, probably not, but we're being watched. It's good though. It's sick. Billy Bob Thornton is the cop chasing after Shia because the AI frames Shia so he can like get him on the run to lead him to him. And there's like a good scene of Billy Bob and Shia interrogation room thing. It's good. It's like Shia LaBeouf is a good actor. So he's like kind of, it's hard to see it in the early stuff. Like Transformers, he's good. He's good. And a lot of, like, even if the movie's bad, Shia is good in it. He's definitely a guide to recognizing your saints. It's like he really, he shows off his acting talents with like, there's like some intense scenes with him and his dad and him and his friend and everything. And he's like, I gotta just saying he hates New York and what it is and stuff, but he's a good actor. And that's like the difference is, it's like he's in these big things first at a young age. And then I guess, I don't know if he goes crazy or just kind of has like a mental break from like the pressure of like saying, oh, you're the next Tom Hanks. But then he kind of transitions to, and later in his career, just he starts doing things he wants to do and acts in them very well, which is, I think, very respectable. It's cool because he's not chasing money or fame. I mean, he got fame right away. I'm sure he wanted it at one time, but then after a certain point, he's like, all right, like I'm just gonna make like movies and be an artist, because he does a lot of performance art stuff, which is like him watching every single one of his movies. But yeah, Eagle Eye is good. They call him up, like, you have been activated, and he's like, oh shit. Good movie. The next movie is New York, I Love You. This sucked. It sucked. Okay, it's like an anthology movie, just loosely connected, not really all about stories of New York. They just get like a different director, writer person to make their own story. Right off the bat, it's like Bradley Cooper and the guy from The Hangover, not even the main three, the guy that's left on the roof in a cab for some reason, and they're like arguing all amongst each other about where to go in New York. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know any of these places in New York. All right. I don't live there. What do you like? We're spending way too much time on something very small amount of people know what you're even saying right now. It's like, oh, take this road or that road, or it's like, am I supposed to understand? Like, it means nothing to most everybody, you know? It's like, well, I don't even know. That confused me. So Shia's story in this, which is, we'll focus on this, and the only good one I thought. It's like about an old actress who goes to this hotel she always goes to in New York, and she's kind of washed up, sort of, or she's like a singer, and Shia LaBeouf is like a foreign crippled bellboy who just kind of listens to her story and is nice to her and gets her flowers, and she's like, oh, you got the flowers. He's like, I guess my boss knew you liked these flowers, and they got her champagne. He's like, how'd you know I wanted champagne? And the window's open, and Shia's like, you must be cold, let me go close the window for you. And then he falls out of the window and dies. And then it was all in her imagination, because the bellboy or bellhop is Gandalf. And she's like, can you look out the window? And he's like, there's nothing there. And then like everything Shia was saying to her, what Gandalf is saying to her. And it's like, what is this? What kind of story is this? It's like, all right, sure. And so the best story, though, is with Anton Yelchin, rest in peace, who's a kid who just gets dumped before prom. Right before prom, his prom date dumps him, who's Blake Lively. And then his pharmacist, for some reason he has a pharmacist, who is the dad from Elf. He's like, hey, my daughter, he's like, take a look at the picture of my daughter. She's hot, which is kind of weird thing, but I guess because he likes him and thinks he's a good kid, he wants to set his daughter up with him. He's like, yeah, she'll take you to prom. And he's like, yeah, she is very pretty. Like, all right. He's like, all right, show up at my house at this time and take her to prom. And you see her, she's all hot, and then the camera pans down and she's in a wheelchair, and he's like, oh, geez. And he takes her to prom anyway. Everyone's kind of staring at them. They're having a good time. And later she's like, why don't you just take me to the park and we'll bang? And she like hoists herself up on a tree, and she's like, all right, let's do it. And then they bang, and the dad is like, oh, you better get her back on time because she has to take her medication. And then he wakes up, he's like, oh shit. And he's like running through New York, getting her back, pushing her through the wheelchair to get her back home. And then when they get to the steps, the dad's like, you guys have a good night? And she just gets up out of the wheelchair and is fine and goes up. She's like, yeah, we had a great time. And the dad's like, yeah, she's a method actor, and she's playing some wheelchair bound person in a play later. And I don't know, I thought it was funny. And then I looked up the director of it. I don't even know his name, but he has a bunch of sexual assault allegations out about him, and one against Olivia Munn, which I love G4 and Attack of the Show. But anyway, he was a sex pest, and then he fled to Israel, and he's good friends with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's all on his Wikipedia page. It's like, what the hell? I was like, all right, sure. He's just off in Israel currently, right now, after everything he did. Next movie, Transformers 2. Oh, I put a note here. The college he goes to is the same one in Indiana Jones, I'm pretty sure, because they crash into the statue and like the head falls off, and the statue is in Transformers 2. It's like the same college, which interesting. This one, huge step down in quality. Huge step down. The CGI is worse. Megan Fox is still in it, but it sucks. It's not good. I don't even know what the plot. Megatron's back no, it's Revenge of the Fallen or something, and the Fallen. It's like he dies at the end of the movie, and it's like talked to by like the ancient council of robots, the auto or whatever. I don't know if they were even Autobots at the time. That's how ancient they were, and they're like, your destiny is to bring Optimus Prime back to life. And it's so stupid. The last 15 minutes, the last battle, it like feels like an hour. It's like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? I know it's this final battle. The movie sucked. CGI is worse. There's a bunch of new Autobots, and they don't even you don't even know their name. They don't even speak. They look terrible. It's bad. It was definitely a cash grab, and it was not good, but it worked because they make like 8 more of these things. And also, to add, like, with the ending dragging on for so long, we know the Autobots are gonna win. We know. There's no question about any of those, like a Transformers movie, a superhero movie, anything. It's like, we know they're gonna win. It's like, now maybe they'd leave you on a cliffhanger because they like break everything into parts, but it's like, wrap it up. It's like this. Oh my god, that was a slog to get through. Next we have Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps. Another sequel, probably not as good as the first. I haven't watched Wall Street 1 yet, but I do want to. Gordon Gekko, Michael Douglas is sick. I thought this was good. Shia LaBeouf is like a young hotshot in Wall Street. This was right in 2008 before the crash. His like mentor kills himself because Josh Brolin like destroys him. And then so Shia like plots his revenge. He's engaged to Gordon Gekko's daughter who hates him because of all the money, and he kind of secretly starts seeing her dad and gets mentored by him on how to get revenge on Josh Brolin because Josh Brolin's character snitched on him, which is part of the reason why he went to jail in the first one. It opens up with like him getting is like a gold money all his stuff out of jail when he's like being dismissed from jail, all his items, and it's like and a cell phone. And it's like that big ass 80 cell phone, that you wouldn't really understand what that is unless you saw the first movie or knew of it at least. I thought it was good. This was good. They like kind of get into like Shia LaBeouf is like a good guy wanting to fund an alternate energy source, but like Wall Street always bets against him, and Gordon's like, "You want to make a trade?" And basically it's about Shia getting revenge, and Gordon Gekko has like $100 million in a trust in Switzerland under his daughter's name, and he kind of convinces Shia to like convince her to let him get it, and then he runs off with the money, but he turns it into $1 billion, and then he gives the 100 million to the alternate energy source and kind of saves their marriage. In the end they have a kid and he wants to be part of it. It's not bad. Next we got Transformers 3, I think Dark of the Moon. Way better than 2, and a step up in CGI quality. Megan Fox is gone, and they just kind of have a new girl that like Transformers are a secret, by the way, of the world. So it's like even though everyone sees them when they're like running through the city and stuff, it's a secret. But he fills in his new girlfriend on the secret because they probably are just like, this is supposed to be Megan Fox's character anyway, but it's a new character, so she has to know. They introduced the Autobots at least this time, so it's like some don't even talk, some just die in the movie, the like old one, but at least they're like, here are the names of these ones, where in the other one like, they're just there. Ratchet is green now for some reason because he got a paint job. But yeah, so some of the Autobots like barely talk, so it's like, why are they there? Why are they even there? They don't even talk. Is also very drawn out like the second one. It's like, oh my god, just end this, please, just end this already. I don't know, it's whack. First one is the only good one. I hope to never have to watch another Transformers movie again. I don't even want to see the first one again. I've seen it plenty of times. Like I did watch one because I was like, I know this is gonna suck, and it did, and it met my expectations in that way, and that was fun. But it's like, holy shit, they're so long and drawn out. It's like, Jesus Christ, end it, just wrap it up. And also, I don't even like the way they all look mechanical with all like the like weird like veins of whatever. I like when they're like solid, like in the cartoon. That was cool. All right, Lawless is the next movie. That's with Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf. They're brothers, and there's some other guy who I don't know. This is a true story to some degree, I guess. This did actually happen. It's about 3 moonshining brothers, and this corrupt cop comes to town and just wants a cut, and they refuse to give him a cut, so they're kind of hiding from him, battling with him, and all that stuff. Originally, Tom Hardy's character was supposed to be Ryan Gosling. That would have been interesting. This was a good movie. So like I said, it's a true story. The real guy that Shia LaBeouf is playing, his grandson wrote this book about what his grandpa was doing and like moonshining with his brothers back in the day during Prohibition, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, because Tom Hardy's character gets his throat cut, he gets shot a bunch of times, and he lives all of that. He dies of like a cold or something, not in the movie, but it's pretty crazy. Imagine your grandpa telling you that. It's like, oh yeah, your uncle and me would sell moonshine, and there was a corrupt cop after us, and there was a big showdown at the end with all the moonshiners, and he killed my best friend, who is the kid from Chronicle, and he has rickets in it. He has rickets, and they call him Cricket, just like in Always Sunny. And they make moonshine, and it's good. It's definitely worth a watch. Good movie. There's a part I really like where like Shia LaBeouf is hitting on who becomes his wife and has these kids with, and then the grandkid who writes the book, who's like the preacher's daughter, and she's like, I hear you and your brothers are invincible, and he's like, invincible, what's that word mean? And I don't know, she likes it. It works. It's a line that works, which I mean, Tom Hardy's character does seem to be invincible. And one thing I think in an interview with Shia LaBeouf, him and Tom Hardy would wrestle all the time on the set or something. And then one of the times Shia LaBeouf was taking a shower and Tom Hardy just started wrestling him in the shower. And then Tom Hardy fell down some stairs and hurt his back or something like that. Interesting, I guess. What's up with that? Next, we got The Company You Keep. This was actually another sick movie. Shia LaBeouf is a reporter who kind of cracks the story, breaks the case, sort of, on Weather Underground, which is a real thing, but I don't think this is a true story. Weather Underground was like a environmental eco-terrorist group. You know, they wanted, I don't know, they're anti-war and wanted to support the earth or something. It's a Robert Redford movie, and basically Shia LaBeouf, like, there was this murder at a bank robbery that the Weather Underground was doing in the 70s or something, and they all go underground and, you know, lead different lives and go undercover for it. And Robert Redford is one of the guys, and so the murder is unsolved, and then one of the ladies turns herself in for some reason, so Shia LaBeouf gets the story, and he pretty much pieces it together that Robert Redford was involved, and police chase is after, you know, they're all looking for Robert Redford, and Shia's kind of looking for him too, and uncovering the whole story just to get a good story, basically. And he figures out in the end, you know, that, like, Robert Redford didn't kill the guy. He was actually a good guy, and it was this lady, his ex-lover, who killed the guy at the bank robbery for some reason, and they eventually convince her to turn herself in to clear Robert Redford, because he didn't really do anything wrong. I don't even know if he was at the bank robbery. They just used his car or something. It was good. It's a good Robert Redford movie. Good Shia movie. There's weed in this movie. They don't smoke it, though. It's just the main bad... She's not really bad lady, but she kind of is, because she murdered somebody for no reason. She smuggles weed. I don't know why. I guess she gets away with murder and is rich, and, like, the cowboy guy from The Big Lebowski, whatever his name is her husband, who's like a stock trader and is rich and like a redneck, or just has that accent. And she's like, yeah, I'm just gonna still bring weed into the country and sell it, even though we're rich and I've gotten away with all these crimes, even though that's not even her downfall. You know, Shia is kind of the guy who pieces all together, and then she feels bad that Robert Redford ends up getting arrested, and so she's like, all right, I'll confess, I'll go to jail finally, because Robert Redford has a daughter. He's got two daughters, actually. That's like a twist of the movie, but you kind of see the second daughter twist coming. That cop is involved and protects his daughter and raises her and all that, and it's a good movie. The Company You Keep. It's worth a watch for sure. Next, we got Charlie Countryman, another one I thought I wouldn't like, but I ended up really liking. This was sick. It's like a fun movie. A lot of weird aspects to it. Like, he can talk to dead people, sort of. Like, it opens up with his mom dying, and she kind of tells him to go to Bucharest, and he does, and he's on a plane talking to this guy, and then he dies, and he, like, talks to him, and he's like, you know, find my daughter, tell her this little, you know, some, like, cute little phrase that, you know, that would, you know, identify him. I don't know, that he knew her or whatever, but he falls in love. Shia LaBeouf falls in love with the daughter, and she is, like, married to or involved with Mads Mikkelsen, who's just like a wicked sketchy guy, and, you know, Shia goes through a lot to get the girl. Rupert Grint is in it. They share a hostel, and they smoke hash, and they trip out, and it makes everybody naked for some reason. They talk about, like, the shared hallucination. They're like, yeah, I guess we're all having the same shared hallucination right now where we're all naked. And it's like, okay. It's good, though. It's, like, fun and inspiring in a way. It makes you want to, like, do something like that, even though it's like, it gets pretty sketchy. He gets, like, the shit kicked out of him by Mads Mikkelsen, but, you know, at the end, it's like the girl goes with him to kind of protect Shia LaBeouf. There's, like, a tape of him murdering someone that Shia finds, and to try to protect the girl, and, you know, instead of giving up, he goes for it, and he gets the girl, and it's good. Definitely an extremely sketchy situation to find yourself in, where, like, some type of criminal guy is, like, you know, ready to murder you because you're messing with this girl and stuff, but I don't know if in real life it would work out that way. the way it does in the movie, that it all works out in the end. And but you know, it's like, get out there and have some fun. Why not? Give love a chance. That's what the movie's about. It's a good movie though. It's sick. Next we got Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2, and I watched the director's cut of this, which was like 5.5 hours total. And it's one story, Volume 1 and 2, and I don't know how to feel about this movie. It's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's whack. It's very disgusting. The director probably, I don't know, is not a good guy, which is, I feel like, kind of the point of the movie. They have like a few parts where they kind of say as much, and it's like, I think the Nymphomaniac girl, which they say the title in this movie, kind of like just says, I don't care, I'm a freak. That's kind of like the director, but it's basically, for whatever reason, it starts just 30 seconds of just black, just nothing. I was like, what's going on? Is this playing? Is it not playing? And it was playing. And then there's like a sick Rammstein song that plays. That was pretty sick. But it starts off with this girl, Jo, that's the Nymphomaniac. She's just beat up and on the street. And then like Stellan Skarsgård finds her. And he's like, oh my God, are you okay? Come, I'll nurse you back to health, or you can just crash at my place. And then she kind of starts like telling him story of like how she ended up there, but she has to start at the beginning and how she's a nymphomaniac. And there's some weird parts right off the bat of like her explaining like what she was like as a child, which it's not, I don't know, it's a foreign film, so that's probably why these parts were in there. It's like, it's just very suggestive and weird, so that's very freaky and not right for sure. The director's a weird one for that, and I don't know, it's whack. But, the movie did grow on me. I didn't like all the sex stuff. That stuff was pretty gross. There's some very disgusting parts. Sometimes it didn't have to be that gross, but I guess that's like kind of the point. So she's like telling all this to Stellan Skarsgård, and she's like, yeah, I'm a bad person. I've done all these awful things. I just love to bang dudes, and that's it. And I don't care who I hurt or whatever. And he, with every story she tells him, he kind of has like a reason of like, oh, there's a deeper meaning here. You're not a bad person. He always has something to say. He's loving the stories. He claims he's asexual and never had sex and is a virgin. She's like, all right. So she's like telling him all the stories. My favorite stories with Uma Thurman. I forget which chapter it is, but she's Mrs. H. Basically, Jo, the nymphomaniac, just like sleeps with so many dudes, she doesn't know how to keep track, so she rolls dice, and the number is how she treats the guy, with like the lowest number being she just blows him off entirely, and the highest number is she like pretends that she loves them. It's like a whole spectrum of that. And there's like a married guy that she like does that too, and she's like, yeah, I love you too much. She's trying to kick him out of her apartment so she can go to her next bang, and she's like, I love you too much, you got to get out of here, you're married. And then he like shows up later, he's like, I've left my wife. She's like, are you kidding me? And then Uma Thurman's the wife and is there with the 3 kids and is just like freaking out. And she's like, look at the man who ruined, this whole family. And it's just weird. And the main character just sitting there, not reacting to the situation at all. She's just like, oh my God. And then her next like guy she's banging shows up, and he's like, it's just, I don't know. I thought that was the best part. And it's no gross stuff. It's just, Uma Thurman freaking out. But I watched this for Shia, who sent the director a sex tape of himself and his girlfriend to get the role. And he said the director scares him, probably because he's a freak. But Shia plays Jerome, is who the lady loses her virginity to. And his signature move is 3 pumps in the front, 5 in the back. And that comes back later at the end. I guess he can just do that on command because he does it in the beginning, and then at the very end he does it to another girl in front of the main character as like a fu to her, and he like looks at her while he does it, and I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, he's a big part because she loses her virginity to him. She ends up working for him later and like falls in love with him, but he doesn't like her, and then they end up meeting up again, and then they get married and have a kid, but she pretty much wants nothing to do with the kid. She chooses being a nymphomaniac. And that's kind of like where, what I read is that the nymphomaniac is the director saying, she kind of like has a part where she's like, I know I'm a freak, I don't care. And then what people think is like Stellan Skarsgård's character is like the critics trying to ascribe deeper meaning to this guy's freaky work. He said he was a Nazi at some film festival, and then he said it was a joke and he was drunk, but then later said that that was the only film festival he was at where he was sober. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's just trying to like push the edge, be boundary pushing. Is it a good movie? Is it worth a watch? It's long as shit. The Rammstein song is sick. If it wasn't so gross, I guess. I mean, maybe if you're into that, like a lot of big name actors are in it. Uma Thurman, Willem Dafoe, Christian Slater, Shia LaBeouf, I guess. You know, they're in it. I don't know. I guess they just wanted to be in this like artsy Stellan Skarsgård. And I really like the ending though, because like Stellan Skarsgård, he's like, all right, thanks for telling me the story. It leads up to the part of like why she's beat up on the street because she tried to kill Shia LaBeouf's character for leaving her for like her protege. Doesn't matter. And then he's like, all right, good night. And then she like goes to sleep, and then he like comes in with his pants off all smiling, and he like is trying to R-word her, and she like wakes up like, what are you doing? And he's like, come on, you've banged 1,000 men, what's one more? And then she shoots him and just runs away, and that's how it ends. And I kind of like that. I mean, it seems like out of nowhere, like why is he doing that? But I don't know, who cares? His face at the end is pretty funny when he comes in like all smiling, like like, oh, I finally have this chance of, but no, he dies for that. All right, next movie, Fury. And this is kind of why I landed on doing Shia next. I wanted to do John Barenthal, which I still may do. He does a lot of TV though, but I did want to watch Fury. I saw the scene of them eating dinner with those like girls, and it's all sketchy, but Fury is a really good movie. Shia LaBeouf pulled out a tooth or filed it down for this movie. And this is by the guy who wrote and directed Training Day. Keep that in mind because he does another movie with Shia later that sucks. It's about a tank unit in World War II led by Brad Pitt, and Shia LaBeouf is like the artillery guy on it. And I guess didn't shower for weeks he said he was not a method actor, but he was just trying to get the rally everybody for this movie. And John Barenthal's in it, which is another actor I'd want to do this on, but he's in more shows and stuff. But Fury follows the tank crew on their mission, and they're just in World War II. The reason I first wanted to watch this movie, I saw the scene where they're all eating lunch or dinner with some two ladies, and it's sketchy, and Brad Pitt has to keep them all in line. And I really like that because like before it's like Brad Pitt and the rookie guy go in, and the rookie guy's like playing piano. It's all nice, and the lady's like singing along while he plays piano, and it's like a nice moment. And then the rest of the crew comes in, and like John Barenthal's just like pounding on the piano and being all sketchy, and he's just like an animal, which Brad Pitt says earlier that he is like a dog. He has to treat him like one to keep him in line. So yeah, this is a really good movie. It's I won't spoil too much with what happens because I think it is this one's definitely worth a watch. One of my favorite ones, and yeah, worth checking out. Okay, next is Man Down. This is another Dito movie. It's like a weird filter on it. It's Shia's like an Iraq war veteran, and he comes home and his like town is destroyed and his family's missing. So he's like looking for his family, and it's like cut between like that and like his time at war and before war, and it's kind of confusing like what's going on and everything, and then it just ends up being really sad. And I mean, Shia is a good actor in this. I thought like the ending is really good where it turns out that Shia's just crazy. He came back, his best friend died while he was out there, and then admitted to him that he slept with his wife because Shia was deployed first. So he just comes back and goes crazy, and he's hallucinating all this stuff. And in the end, he just kind of like takes his son out of his bed and is trying to get away, and the cops are all after him, and he's freaking out his son, and he like starts choking his wife, and then he like realizes like that he was hallucinating, and then the cops just shoot him in front of his son, and it's really sad. And the point of the movie is like, veterans come back with PTSD, and we need to take it seriously. Definitely not as good as a guide to recognizing your saints. That's the better movie with the two of them. for sure. All right, next is American Honey. It's an A24 movie. Shia LaBeouf has a rat tail in it. It's about they're called mag crews. I've never heard about it. I looked it up. This movie is long and boring and not good, and it just sort of ends. And it follows this girl who just is like very poor and like takes care of her like little brother and sister. And then like Shia LaBeouf and the magazine crew, they like drive around selling magazines. Like, who even buys magazines, and how is this thing even possible for them to make money? Because they all look like scumbags, which is, a testament to this movie. They dressed and cast well. They're all very scummy looking people, and you just wouldn't want them. If they rang your doorbell trying to sell you a magazine, you wouldn't want them at your house. You'd be like, just get out of here. No, it's shot in 4:3 aspect ratio, which is cool. That's cool, I think. But yeah, it's not a very good movie. I don't really like it. Didn't really like it. It's long, and yeah, like I said, it just ends. And so it's kind of implied that the dad like molests his daughter, the girl, the main character. She like cries when he like goes to touch her, and like he just wants a hug, and then she just abandons her younger sister and brother and gives them one thought throughout the movie. She like tries to call them, she gets the voicemail, and then that's it. She just doesn't think about them ever again. And it's like, you just subjected them to this hellhole. It's like, I understand you have to get out, but you don't care about them, I guess. I don't know. Not a very good movie. Skip this one. Next is Borg versus McEnroe, which is a true story, another sports movie, underdog sports movie. He's in playing the underdog, and this is way better than the greatest game ever played. John McEnroe, the American tennis player. It's about his game versus Borg. Stellan Skarsgård's in this too. He's not Borg. I don't know who that is. Swedish guy, and it's a good movie. It's it just kind of like depicts this match they had that at Wimbledon that goes on for a long time, and McEnroe ends up winning. I mean, that is kind of a spoiler, but I guess it's like a historical sports moment thing that you should know anyway. That one's worth a watch. He's got like big curly hair like John McEnroe did. He kind of looks like him. It's got a few good freakouts in the beginning, but like when it's time for the main game, he takes it very seriously, so he doesn't freak out at that part. There's like one part where it shows him like hiding his friend's ankle brace. He steals his friend's ankle brace, which makes him play worse, but that didn't happen. They just wanted to show like the length McEnroe was willing to go to win, because he was very determined, which is a weird thing to add. But they end up playing, a great match, and Borg wins, and then it ends with them like meeting in the airport, and they're talking tennis, and then they become best friends. And Borg was John McEnroe's best man in his wedding, and they became best friends. And the next year, John McEnroe wins at Wimbledon, and then Borg retires. But he was like a 5-time Wimbledon champion by the age of like 25 or 26 or something crazy like that. Our next is Honey Boy, which is based... Shia LaBeouf wrote this, and it's based off his time at Even Stevens. He wrote this when he was in rehab, and part of it is a lie. I guess he wrote some of this to kind of deflect the blame off of himself of why he was in rehab. His dad never hit him or anything, but I think some of this is true. It's about his time as a child on Even Stevens. He plays his dad. Shia LaBeouf plays his own dad in this, and it's pretty good. Yeah, it's just like it shows him in rehab sort of, and then like him being a child star on the rise. They live in a motel, and his dad was like a biker, recovering alcoholic. They say Honey Boy, they say the title, so that's another one where they do that. It is interesting that he made it up. He admits to that later, that he just exaggerated to make a good movie and I guess deflect blame. His dad grows weed on the side of the highway. I don't know how you get away with that, but he just is growing weed at the side of the highway, and then like they kind of like make amends at the end, even like when he's a child, and then he takes him to the weed grow operation on the side of the highway, and then like Shia is like touching it, or like the kid playing Shia LaBeouf is touching it. He's like, oh, it's sticky, and then they smoke it. He's 12 years old and they smoke weed together, which I thought that was pretty fun. That's kind of how it ends, and then it ends in like the present time of him, part of his rehab journey, going to talk to his dad, and his dad's dressed up as a clown because he's a rodeo clown. He's like, I'm making a movie about you. He's like, oh, better make it good. And then it ends. It wasn't bad. All right, next, The Peanut Butter Falcon. This is probably one of his best movies. I liked it a lot. This was an indie movie that was just a huge, massive success, which is pretty cool. It's about a guy with Down syndrome who escapes the facility he's in, and Shia LaBeouf is just like he's not really a vagrant, but he's kind of like a criminal guy, and he like burnt this crab guy's cages and stuff as just like an FU to him. So they're on the run together, and then Dakota Johnson's like the nurse looking for Zach, the guy with Down syndrome, and they want to go. He's like Shia LaBeouf. They sail down. It's like in North Carolina on the Outer Banks, so they're like sailing away on a raft, and Shia LaBeouf's trying to bring him to a wrestling school that's closed. Well, they don't know it's closed. When they get there, it's closed. But the wrestler, like realized, he's like, oh, I can do one more for him just to be nice because they came all this way. And then they set up a match for him, and his friend is supposed to go easy on Zach, the guy with Down syndrome. We'll go back for a second because Dakota Johnson catches up with them and then like falls in love with Shia LaBeouf, and they're like a little family, and she sails with them and stuff. And meanwhile, the guy that Shia LaBeouf burned all his stuff down is looking for him. So they get to the wrestling thing, and then it's supposed to be like the backyard wrestling thing. It's supposed to be like a fixed match, but for whatever reason, the guy fighting Zach decides to just like beat on him and beat him up, and the audience is all kind of freaked out by it. Shia LaBeouf's encouraging him to keep going, and they mention there's like a move that the wrestler guy had, and he's like, oh, that was fake. That was just for the video that no one can do, where you like lift a guy up above your head like this, and then then the guy does it. Zach, the guy with Down syndrome, does it. He grabs the guy and he just like tosses him out of the ring wicked far, and everyone's all amazed. And then like in that moment, the guy finally catches up to Shia LaBeouf and then just bashes him in the head with a tire iron. That's not how it ends. He kind of recovers. He's really messed up from that, but then it ends with them going to Florida, because early in the movie, Shia LaBeouf said, I'm just going to go to Florida and be a fisherman there, because there's a town that, the fishing's good and you can make a living doing this. So the three of them all go there, and it's a happy ending. It's I guess a retelling of Huckleberry Finn in a way, where Shia LaBeouf is the fugitive, which I guess being a runaway slave is being a fugitive back then, but he's Jim, and the Zach guy with Down syndrome is Huckleberry Finn. All right, next is the tax collector. This is I think David Ayer is his name. He was the guy who wrote and directed Training Day and Fury and this movie sucked. They should have just had Shia be the lead. He's like the cartel, like this branch of the cartel hitman. I think people were mad at him because I thought he was playing a Mexican guy, but he's not. He's just a white guy in this movie. The main character of this movie sucks. He's not a good actor. He's like bogged out too. He looks really weird. It's just like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what you'd think. Like he's like the tax collector. He controls the area, so like all the drug dealers have to pay him a tax, and then like he gets threatened by a new tax collector, and I don't know, it's really bad. It's poorly written. It's like surprising that this guy who made these good movies made this piece of shit. What should have Shia dies in it. He isn't, he's good in it for sure, but he's not in it for very long, and they just kill him off. What should have happened is they should have killed the main guy off and then just had Shia take revenge. That would have been a lot better movie. But it is a awful movie. And then Shia like joins a gang in real life. Apparently, he gets jumped into a gang to like prepare for this role. It's like, why? You're barely in it, and I don't know. It's a bad movie too. Next is Pieces of a Woman. This was originally a play, I believe, sort of based on a true story. It's about a couple who loses their baby during a home birth, which is pretty awful, and just how their marriage falls apart. Shia's good in this. It's the Invisible Woman from the new Fantastic Four is his wife in this, which apparently Shia's like controversies of getting in trouble and whatever else he was doing like was affecting her because she had just done this movie with him. It's good though. Shia is like a bridge builder, and everything's kind of going well, and then they lose their child, unfortunately, and everything falls apart. And Shia relapses and starts doing drugs in the movie. And it's like, is this what really happened? Or like, I mean, the people wrote this movie based on an experience they had. I don't know. But the mom hates Shia. Shiv Roy is in it. It's good. It's a good movie. Sad, but it's one of those ones that, it's worth a watch. Next we got Padre Pio. Shia plays Padre Pio. The only thing I really remember from this movie is him yelling, "Say Christ is Lord." He definitely acts well in it, but it's not really about Padre Pio, so it's a little confusing. I think you would need to know the story of this guy going in to really understand. And he is been venerated as a saint now, but he was like this friar in Italy, and he goes to this village, and it's like around World War I time, and they're like having an election for mayor, and there's like a corrupt rich mayor, and so they vote for like the person they want, but the mayor just kind of shoots everybody. He like orders the guards to just massacre the town basically because he didn't win, so he just like seizes control. And Padre Pio's not really involved in that. I guess he's just in that town, but because of that, he is like crying and prays for salvation, and then he gets like the stigmata. That's how it ends, and I guess that's like a big factor of this guy, that he bore the stigmata on his hands, feet, and rib. And it's like, it kind of shows the event that led to him getting that, and then just kind of him being a priest and friar as well. It's not really about Padre Pio, I would say. I had to look it up and read because I was kind of confused, like what was happening, because I didn't know, because it is a true story. But also this movie, like Fury is when he started getting into religion, and then this movie, like, I guess made him convert, and he's a Catholic now, because of that. Because also in Fury he plays like a religious guy. All right, next is Megalopolis. This is Francis Ford Coppola's movie that he was trying to make for years and years, and it sucked. And then even Shia said he didn't like it. I don't think he said it sucked, but I mean, it definitely sucked. He just wanted to work with Francis Ford Coppola. It's cool. It's like the clothes are cool because they wear like suits and capes, or like, not like a superhero cape, but like Roman emperor cape, because it's like heavily Roman inspired. I did like it. The opening line or something is like, are they going to preserve this nation, or are they just going to let the greed of a few people destroy everything? Which I kind of liked. Adam Driver is like Caesar, and he invents this like miracle material that can just build anything. And it's just about him trying to like take over from the corruption in New York and use this build Megalopolis. And Shia is Claudius. I think it's kind of inspired by some Roman history, but I don't exactly know which one. Shia is just kind of just like a rich ruler guy that starts doing populism, and I mean, it doesn't really work because they hang him up by his feet in the end. He like sleeps with his aunt or something, and John Voight is his grandpa, and Caesar's his cousin, and John Voight shoots him in the ass with an arrow. The it's just not good. It's very long and not good, and I don't know why. Like, I mean, there's like a reason they didn't want to make this movie, and Francis Ford Coppola used a bunch of his own money to make it, because they're just like, oh, this is dog shit, and yeah, definitely not worth a watch. All right, next is Salvable. I thought it was Savable, but there's an L in there. I don't think there's an L in Savable. Maybe the main character's name is Sal, so that could be why. Shia plays like a scumbag in it, and he does well. He plays a pretty good scumbag. And he gets out of jail. The main character works in a nursing home, and also like is a sparring partner that just gets beat up for money in boxing. And he kind of had a criminal past, and Shia gets out of jail and brings it up and sort of just ruins his life. He like convinces him to do this robbery, and he does the robbery. He gets shot in the leg, and he has a tough time with his like ex-wife, and he's trying to reconcile with his daughter, and he's supposed to have this big fight, and instead of going to the fight, he does the robbery. He gets shot, and then Shia sort of saves him in the end, because he's running away, limping away, and the cops see him, and then Shia just like starts shooting at the cops to distract them. And he lays on the beach and passes out, and his eyes close, and then his eyes open and it ends. So I guess he like gets away and has a second chance, even though the movie is sort of his second chance, like with his family, and he blows it, and then he lives, so he gets another one. It was good though. It's a weird, like, it's not happy ending in any way, or the whole time or anything like that. It just is about a guy kind of like falling off the path, and I guess sort of gets a second chance at the end. All right, and the last movie, Henry Johnson. This is a David Mamet movie. It was a play that Shia was in with him, and he convinced him to make a movie out of it. I believe they just did everything on their own. They just released the movie online on their own website that you could just purchase and watch. Henry Johnson's the main character. Shia LaBeouf is his cellmate in prison. The movie is basically it's three monologues, and then it ends. It's like a play. The first one, you find out like Henry Johnson. The moral of the story is like, don't be a pussy. Have a spine. Henry Johnson's like an incredibly easily influenced man, and it just it leads to him getting killed in the end, where I don't know, he gets involved with someone from college who ends up killing his wife's lover or affair, or maybe it was Henry Johnson who killed. He said he doesn't remember who pulled the trigger in the room when they caught him, and then he steals money for this guy, and he's a lawyer, and his like lawyer friend or his lawyer boss kind of just like is aware. He's like, "Are you gay? Like, why did you do this for this guy?" He's like, "I'm not gay." And he's like, "You just do whatever he says. Like, why are you so charmed by him?" And he's like trying to like explain himself, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we know what you did, and you're arrested." And then it like cuts to him in jail with Shia LaBeouf, who starts influencing and manipulating him. And there's some like jail therapist who loves Henry Johnson for some reason. So Shia LaBeouf, like, he's like, "You can get her to give you a loaded gun and we can like bust out of here." And then so he does that, and it cuts to him holding a prison guard hostage in the library, and he has the gun, and the prison guard is just talking to him, kind of monologuing. Like I said, it's three monologues, none from Henry Johnson. And then he finally convinces him to give him the gun, and then he's like, "I can walk you out of here. We'll be okay. You don't have to die." And it turns out the prison guard was friends with the guy who was murdered. And then the prison guard just knocks him out. And you think that's it, but then he just shoots him a bunch of times, which that's a crime too. But it doesn't go on past that. It ends with his death. This it's pretty good. It's okay. It's heady, I guess. A lot of dialogue. It's a play. It's not as good as Glengarry Glen Ross, but it's not bad. Okay, here is the tier list for all the Shia movies that I said I would do at the end. And we're just going to go in order of these pictures here. So first we got A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. I think that might be in my top 3. It was pretty good. Apparently he destroyed the director's office to kind of prove himself that he's tough enough for this movie, because the director just thought he was a Disney kid, which I guess he kind of was before this. Anyway, we got American Honey, D. That was boring. Bobby, I guess maybe I'll move Bobby later. I'll put it in A. I thought that was pretty good. Borg versus McEnroe, A. Charlie Countryman, A. I liked that one. Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, C. It was fun, but didn't really like it. Disturbia, I would say A. That may move up to top 3 later on. Dumb and Dumber, D. Or might as well just be F tier, but I guess there's no F on this. It's low. It wasn't very funny. Eagle Eye, A. Even Stevens movie, it wasn't very good, so D. Fury, that's top 3 for sure. I'll order these in 1, 2, 3 once I get the top 3. Greatest game ever played, D. Not good. Holes holds up, but is it A? I think it's B. We're going to throw that in B. Honey Boy, that's a C for me. It was okay. I, Robot was sick. I don't know if it's A. Maybe it's A. We'll put it in B. I, Robot. Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. C. It wasn't that bad, but it's like was trying to be a spectacle. Man Down. Sorry, I'm gonna have to give this one a D, bottom tier. That was just kind of confusing. The same guy who did A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, but it is what it is. Megalopolis, easy, D. That movie sucked. Oh, Nausicaä and The Valley of the Wind, A. I liked that a lot. Oh, Nymphomaniac, Volume 1 and 2. Where's that going? Up here? No, just kidding. I'll put it in B. It was a good movie, but kind of a lot of gross stuff. Padre Pio, sorry, D. Some good parts when he's screaming, say, Christ is Lord, but I didn't really understand what was happening. The Company You Keep, A. That was a good movie. Peanut Butter Falcon, I think that might be in the top 3. We'll see. Let's figure out the order of the top 3 I have here right now. I might put Fury first. Yeah, I might do Fury, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, Peanut Butter Falcon. Peanut Butter Falcon maybe is 2. Let's do that. That's my top 3 so far. New York, I Love You, D. It's like a anthology movie. Sucked. Shia's part wasn't even that good. The only good part was Anton Yelchin's. Okay, Transformers. Is this the first Transformers? I think this is the first Transformers, so we'll put that in B, and let's just go ahead and do the other Transformers right in the very bottom of D, because those sucked. This is Tru Confessions. I guess C, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't terrible like some of these movies were, but it wasn't great. Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, B. That's a B. Tax Collector, D, of course. Battle of Shaker Heights, we'll just throw that up in A. Constantine, C. Okay, so I didn't see Monkey Business, The Christmas Path, or Breakfast with Einstein, his first movie, so they'll just stay down here and not watched. Pieces of a Woman. Where's that going? I think B. It was a good movie. Mostly about the Invisible Woman, not really Shia. Henry Johnson. I'm going to say C. Not for me. Lawless. I'll put that in B. Salvable was pretty good. Is it a B? It might be B. And then Surf's Up, D. All right, let's make these all in order of everything. So, all right. I think I'm okay with this order. Starting from number 1, we got Fury, Peanut Butter Falcon, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Those are top 3 for me. Even A could be considered S tier with these movies, but just the way this is organized. So next we got Disturbia, Borg versus McEnroe, Nausicaä and the Valley of the Wind, Eagle Eye, Company You Keep, Battle of Shaker Heights, Charlie Countryman, Bobby, Holes, Transformers 1, iRobot, Nymphomaniac, Volumes 1 and 2, Lawless, Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, Salvable, Pieces of a Woman, Honey Boy, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, Constantine, Indiana Jones, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Henry Johnson, Tru Confessions, the Even Stevens movie. Maybe I'll put that at the end of C. Anyway, Man Down, Dumb and Dumber, When Harry Met Lloyd, The Greatest Game Ever Played, Padre Pio, American Honey, Transformers 2 and 3, kind of tied, Tax Collector, Surf's Up, New York I Love You, and Megalopolis probably being his worst movie. And that's it. We did it. That's a wrap on Shia LaBeouf. I mean, maybe in another like 15 years when more movies come out, we can do this again. But, you know, if he's doing one once in a while, we're done with that, even if movies come out in 2026. So I'll see you in the next one. It's going to be Megan Fox. Did you guys make it all the way to the end here? Probably not. Okay, bye.